Hey everyone, Zyvx here from the OmniCollective team, group, whatever you want to call us. Today we're going to be talking about Trials of Osiris. It's a big thing happening this weekend if you didn't know. It's back for the first time in Season of the Lost with a complete overhaul to the matchmaking, loot, progression systems, basically from the ground up a rework. And I'm kind of enjoying it. There's a few negatives that I got, but I'm enjoying it. If you look at the stats, this is the most popular Trials of Osiris event in Destiny 2 history. And this weekend, I think in the first 2 days, had the most matches played in like all of Destiny history. It's pretty sick. Clearly, if you look on Twitter, Reddit, Discord, wherever you look at your kind of like Destiny community news, the reaction has been overwhelmingly positive, and Bungie definitely hit a big home run with this re-release. Still, there's a few little negative things that I want to talk about, but overall the experience has been overwhelmingly positive. For those of you guys who don't know what Trials is, if you're watching a Destiny video and you don't know what Trials is, hi, welcome. Hi. For those of you guys who don't know what Trials of Osiris is, basically it's 2 teams of 3 going against each other in a competitive PvP environment. It's first to 5 wins, 90-second rounds. It's pretty fast-paced. It's got some really good loot specifically for PvP, but there are some good PvE roles mixed in there with some awesome-looking loot. Almost all of the gear, armor, and weapons look awesome for Trials, and they always have. When Trials first relaunched for Destiny 2 and Season of the Worthy, it wasn't really received that well, mostly because of hackers, recoveries, win trading. It just felt bad, especially for people who didn't do like PvP as their main thing in Destiny. The goal of Trials is to go flawless. You got to get 7 wins without losing, and you go to the lighthouse and you get some really good loot. However, it wasn't really going to happen for most players because you needed a team of 3. You couldn't go queue in like a solo or a duo. You had to go in as a team of 3. So for a lot of the solo players, you either had an LFG or you were kind of shit out of luck. Thankfully, Bungie went back to the drawing board with Trials after tons of community feedback, both positive and negative, to rework and relaunch Trials to be more accommodating to a larger player base of Destiny. With the Season of the Lost, Bungie wanted to make playing Trials more rewarding, whether you win or lose or even go flawless. There is some stuff still locked behind going flawless, but for the most part, what most people want is going to be accessible just by winning or losing. This weekend, we saw the relaunch of Trials, so let's talk about some of the features, including both the negatives and positives that I've got. First, the big elephant in the room and what I've seen most people complain about is matchmaking. You can match into Trials now, just like any other Crucible playlist, as a solo, a duo, or a trio. Doesn't matter your group size. However, that's kind of where the problem is, because there's no freelance like there is in the other 2 competitive PvP game modes. So you can't go in as just a bunch of solos. You kind of are stuck with, oh, I might be a solo and going up against 3-stack, which is kind of not great, because a bunch of randoms going against a communicating 3-stack is not the greatest thing in the world. Now, it is possible to go flawless while solo queuing, and people have done it. If you look at Twitter, Reddit, people have done it. However, it's still a big flaw that going in as a solo, most of the time you go up against a 3-stack. And we'll talk about one of the reasons why that's happening a little later in the video. One of the other problems that you're seeing is that a lot of players are leaving the match if they know there are a bunch of randoms going against the 3-stack, or just like rowing, like jumping off the cliff and stuff. So having some kind of quitter penalty, or if you like within a certain amount of time have died in the beginning of a match, like within the first like 5 seconds, you get some kind of penalty, helps that situation for sure. A positive that we're seeing with Trials is that the population for Trials is nuts right now. There's so many people playing it. But if you add it in freelance, it could split the population to where if you don't queue in the freelance as like a duo, you are going against 3-stack almost all the time. I rarely ever ran into just duos. I ran into a bunch of solos or 3-stacks. I could see both sides of the argument there, or adding in a freelance playlist. I personally sit on that side, but I also can see that if you split the population in 2, you kind of get some problems there. One thing that you're seeing from the more hardcore PvP players revamp is that it's a little too easy now. A lot of the really good loot that they were coveted for having because they played Trials and they were good at it is now accessible to a lot of the player base, and it reduces their, I guess, clout. Not clout because it's a bad word, but it reduces their reward in a way. It kind of inflates it a little bit. So maybe we could have some kind of system after the fact, after you've gone flawless, to kind of go into a flawless only playlist to where like if you lose, your card gets wiped automatically. something that adds that extra difficulty. So you kind of have both sides of the equation appeased. You've got the less hardcore PvPers that want their good loot and everything like that. And then you have the hardcore PvPers who can seek something like an emblem, a cosmetic, a shader, or something to flex that they are really good PvP players and they've gone flawless a lot, or they're really decent at the game. Also, with the new Trials rework, it is mostly about round wins. So even getting a round win is a huge plus to your Trials pinnacle. Also, if you get an engram from a drop from winning or getting a rank up, you can focus that engram into a weapon, an armor piece, or something like that that you have gotten before. So, for example, I've been going after getting a bunch of messengers because I really like the messenger. I've been wanting that Desperado Outlaw or Desperado Rapid Hit roll. I haven't gotten one yet, and I'm really upset. Last, you can go for those. I've gotten a good Shariah's Wrath. I've gotten a good Eye of Soul. I've gotten a pretty decent Reed's Regret. So you can focus these once you've gotten the loot for it. And it basically rewards playtime and effort. So if you win your matches, you get loot you can focus on later on and get pretty good stuff. So you don't have to run Trials every single weekend and have to go for specifically, oh, this weekend has the messenger on it, I gotta grind this weekend. Or next weekend, you know, it's got Igneous Hammer. I've already got a good Igneous Hammer. I'm not going to play Trials. It promotes playing Trials every weekend to try and get good loot. So let's talk about probably the bigger negative point I have for Trials, and that is 3 stacks using the 5 of 6 or 4 of 6 exploits. Basically what's happening is the 3 stack is queuing into Trials and waiting for the matchmaking UI to say 4 of 6 or 5 of 6, and once they see that, they stay in the queue for that because they know they're going to be a 3 stack going up against a bunch of randoms. I did this maybe once just to see how different it was. And when I tell you it was so much different running up against a 3 stack that was communicating versus a bunch of randoms, we pub stomped. We absolutely destroyed that bunch of randoms and I felt bad. So these 3 stacks are using this 4 of 6 or 5 of 6 method to get a bunch of randoms to get easy wins. This definitely makes you feel, as a solo player, feel like you're going up against mostly 3 stacks, which kind of sucks. An easy fix for this would be to remove the UI that tells you how many players are in the lobby when you're matchmaking, and just show the text on the screen telling you what step they're on in terms of, are they evaluating Guardians, are they matchmaking, are you launching? That would make the matchmaking system a lot better because you wouldn't have those 3 stacks exploiting randoms. So now that we've gone through all the negatives, let's talk about some of the huge positives that we've got. I've talked about one of them earlier, and that's the fact that you can grind loot out now. It's awesome. I can grind out my good Igneous Hammer roll or a good Messenger roll and be rewarded for that. And now you can farm it instead of just looking at it on Twitter or Reddit. Oh, this weekend's the Messenger. Oh, I wish I could get it. You can grind it out any week now. Also, anti-cheats in Destiny now. It's Battle Eye, which is okay at best, but that's better than nothing. It's been something we've been asking for a while, and Bungie definitely delivered with the Battle Eye anti-cheat. It's going to stop a lot of those players from running into flying characters with rapid fire rocket launchers, or people having supers instantly or rezzing once you've killed them. Prevents that kind of stuff and really only has aim hacks and wall hacks, which is a million times better to deal with. It still sucks and it still needs to be addressed. We still need to work on that, but it's a million times better than the previous system we had. Also, win trading, recoveries, and all that kind of stuff is bannable now, which is nice. You're still going to run into it, but it's, you know, there is something done about it. Overall, Bungie killed it with the Trials rework. I've been playing Destiny on and off since launch of D1. And I haven't had this much fun grinding out Trials since the first few weekends of Trials way back in House of Wolves and Destiny 1. Now that Trials has been reworked, maybe Bungie should look at reworking regular PvP, Iron Banner, Gambit, especially Gambit. If you guys have played Gambit recently, oh my god. We've been stuck in a Truth, Eyes of Tomorrow, Xenophage meta for about 2 years now, and it's rough. And if they do what they did with Trials with Gambit and Iron Banner, I feel like it would be a lot more rewarding to play those game modes in the long run. Anyway, that's it for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it and found it somewhat informative. If you liked it or found it helpful, please make sure to like the video, leave a comment, share it with your friends, whatever. If you like Destiny content, want more videos from us, let us know. And yeah, Guardians, thank you for watching, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.